Good evening, welcome to Foreigner in the Philippines. Well, it's often been said that I have a strange viewpoint of time, like my time is different to everybody else's. Well, I think it is, and I think that my mother is to blame for this, even though it's very common and very popular to blame your parents for everything. And the mark of maturity is, of course, when you stop blaming your parents for everything. But with my mother, it was very, very difficult because she was so stubborn. I remember that I told her that I would that I had intended and planned and done the deed of buying myself a swimsuit that actually fitted me. And she was furious. She said, "I made you a perfectly good swimsuit. In fact, I knitted it myself from wool. And the best wool at that, my boy." And I said, "Mom, I can't wear a swimsuit that is made of wool. As soon as I get in the water, it drags out behind me. I look as if I'm being followed by a killer whale." She said, "I don't like your attitude. You better go to your room." I said, "Mom, I don't have a room. I'm 42 years old." It didn't make any difference, but it just leads me to the point of saying that there are many different kinds of time. I used to know a lot about time simply because I had so many examples of it. Now, let me just tell you that there are three main examples of time. There's real time. Now, real time is, as I say, real time is exactly the way that our lives go, are in real time. As I'm in the Philippines, it's topical to say there is Filipino time, and I'm going to describe Filipino time very well. Filipino time runs about 2 to 4 hours behind real time. That's Filipino time. So if you have made an appointment at, say, for 10 o'clock, don't bother getting there before about 2 o'clock because they probably won't be there. And Filipinos are not offended when you say this because they laugh about it themselves, and they say, will we be on, I often say, will we be on real time or will we be on Filipino time? Well, and they'll laugh and say it probably might be Filipino time, and that's when I usually use my old standing joke, which wasn't really that funny the first time I used it, but now I do it to see people's face go, "Oh, not again." And I say, well, actually on my watch you keep saying "in a moment," but on my watch it doesn't say "in a moment." Like, I can't meet you at 1:45 in a moment because it's not on my watch. And they say, "buy a Filipino watch." So that's Filipino time. Now there's real time. Now real time can be even more confusing because if you talk to someone who is a real time storyteller, now I've had this in writers, but the most startling example of it was my sister, who would tell her stories about everyday life in real time. And it was difficult to keep your eyes open when she started because she'd say, "Well, you'll never believe what happened to me." And she had a very sleepy voice. "You'll never believe what happened to me on Monday." And I say it was Monday because Monday is when, no, I tell a lie, it was Tuesday. Anyway, Tuesday morning, no, it wasn't Tuesday morning, it was Tuesday afternoon. I say it was Tuesday afternoon because the milkman had already built. You would love the milkman, it's Tommy. He's a lovely man. He always brings us 2 pints and he always makes sure there's lots of cream on the top. You have to be sure that there's lots of cream on the top and take it in very early. Well, anyway, Tommy had been, and had he been there? Now, he mentioned to me that he was getting a divorce and I had to listen to him for that. Now, well, that might have been mad. You see what I mean? In the meantime, you're going, and you're trying not to snore. she's willing to have you close your eyes because she's been through it many times before. So now, but there's an other time, what I call other time. And other time is what I tend to think of as my life. As with my mother, I was already 42 when she was still telling me to go to my room, and that's other time. Now, other time, I finally came out of the army. I'd been on other time in the army. I was served for 8.5 years, which on other time is like 27 years and a few months. I say a few months because I tend to over-allow for things. So I came out of the army. They always talk about this, a soldier is an army of one. Nothing could be further than the truth. You don't grow up when you're in the army, you stay a child. I went in when I was 15.5. I came out 8.5 years later in real time, 27 years and 3 months in other time, and I was like 16 years old. So I came out, and let me see, I went a few years in relative freedom, and then I met the woman that I would marry. Well, I wasn't ready for marriage. You see, that's the whole point. I wasn't ready for marriage because it entered other time. Sorry, I'm getting this wrong. It entered other time, and other time is going at 5 million miles an hour compared to an ordinary hour of 60 seconds. So, what happened? Well, I met my wife, and she was a lovely woman, and she was a great talker, and she was intelligent and quite beautiful. And I met her, and I went into other time. That's where everything accelerates, and you're not in control of it. You can always tell when someone is in other time. He's walking around like this. It's almost as if he's startled by any noises. Like this, you see, he's in other time. Well, I'm in other time. And what did it feel like? Well, in other time, it enters a different kind of definition, you see. I mean, I look at it now, and other time, it's going at lightning speed. Trying to catch a real moment in other time is like trying to take down the size numbers of a Formula 1 car as it flashes by you at 200 miles an hour. It's an other time. Well, I wasn't ready, but it was as if, well, put it into real time, but using other time speed. I met her on Monday. What? I met her on Monday. I met her on Sunday. I dated her on Monday. I married her on Tuesday. She was pregnant on Wednesday. By the end of the week, I had 3 kids, a mortgage, a car payment, and, well, it was all gone. I was only a baby. I was only 27 years old. You can see my problem. It's other time. Now, of course, I'm going on to the reverse of the other time, as if the time was a coin. Now, everything starts to slow down incredibly. Like when you're at the dentist, you know, everything goes on the other side of other coin. The other coin side of other time. You see, everything just gets mixed up. You will never be able to get to the bottom of other time. I tried to get rid of the mother syndrome. I went to one of those people who will help you, a counsellor, and he suggested that we do rebirthing. I said, are you crazy? I didn't enjoy birthing the first time. Why would I go through it again? So he said, well, why don't we just imagine that you're talking to your mother? So just imagine that you're talking to your mother. I said, how can I talk to my mother? She's been dead 10 years. He said, just imagine that you can talk to her. I said, what is she on Globe or Verizon? What? Anyway, he said, talk to her as if she's actually can hear you. So I'm looking around like this. I'm already feeling very spooked. Mom, are you there? Can I talk to you? And then I heard her in that voice that I always heard her. Now, the therapist couldn't hear her, but I could hear her. And it was that voice whenever I was about to do something wrong. She knew. I don't know how she ever knew. But as soon as I went to touch the cookies, she would say, "Terence, what are you doing?" I don't know how she knew, but she knew everything. And I said to her, "Mom," we're back now trying to make contact. "Mom, are you there?" And I heard her clear as anything. "Terence, what are you doing?" That was my little trip with rebirthing and trying to make contact. So, try to stay out of other time. It's not a good time to be in. This is a foreigner in the Philippines. I'm hoping to get well soon. Bye, Mother.